Welcome, people of the World Wide Web, and it's movie time for you. So, what have I got for you this week? It is the movie I Love Again. Now, we'll not really know about it, and the thing you're asking for it, did I love this movie, or did I wish I never had seen it again? Continue watching the video and we shall find out. So, people who haven't seen this, and I will try and keep the spoilers free for a little bit at least. Well, basically, this film is about two main characters, a female and a male. They both have suffered loss of a partner for one reason or another in different ways, and it is then a haphazard way of how they connect through a set of series events leading up to some sort of ending. Obviously, as it implies, Love Again, it kind of a little bit shook me for one of the scenes in the very beginning. I kind of saw this was on. I hadn't read anything, I hadn't seen any trailers. I went in completely blind. I wasn't even thinking any bit of the movie. It was just I was going to go see it. That was it. So I had no preconditioned pre-thoughts about it, and so we went in there. So the characters, I said, apart from one of the guys, I didn't really recognise any of these people, apart from Celine Dion, obviously, and that is the thing. Celine Dion is in here. Celine Dion's music is in here. Now, I wouldn't rate this as highly as some of the other musicals that have had people in. I think this was very good of how Celine actually is in this and how they integrated in it. It is definitely fiction because a lot of this stuff wouldn't have happened. And take the start, take the finish. It is kind of a standard rom-com. Will they, won't they? The thing that I think this film has going for it is the journey between these 2 points. So let's put the spoiler review up so I can talk about stuff and then go into it. So obviously, as I said, as the two characters, you have the female lead. It all starts off with her. She has a partner. They are very much in love, and unfortunately, he dies. The main focus is very beginning on her. Then you meet the male lead, who is a writer, and he has basically, or he was left a week before the wedding, and it is both of them dealing with losses, very different losses of somebody refusing, of basically you loving someone and then kind of rejecting you on one side, and then you loving someone and them being taken away from you. Obviously the story then goes on, obviously leads to they meet basically the guy, his work provided with a new phone, and the new phone happens to be the phone number of the lady's dead ex-boyfriends. It then is a chance, due to happens to be given a number, and then you have these events that they happen to live in the same city, and she's going to a place and something ensues. Obviously, I say there's also another famous person. So there is Nick Jonas. He is in there. He is in there for a small cameo. What I didn't realise, he is actually the husband of the female lead in real life. So that, there you go, a bit of interesting facts. But yeah, it was funny in parts to say. It takes a little while for you to get going, and you could kind of get going. I gravitated more to the female lead than the male lead at the beginning, but then it kind of evens out, and it's very messy. And I will give it from almost a get going at there. You're not, like I say, you don't necessarily gravitate towards the leaders. You want the things they say, the things they do, and how it is shown is very messy. There are highs, there are bits you will root for them, there are bits you won't necessarily agree with them, there are bits you'll find funny, there may be a few bits you find cringy, and to be honest, I actually really, it was these elements that actually, it was something refreshing, something that I haven't really seen before, or seen even in a long time, or even I can, if I try and cast mine back, I can't really place another movie that fits it. And the fact it was so all over the place actually kind of mirrors the whole concept of of finding someone. you know, getting to know them, falling in love with them, and that, and, you know, nothing is perfect. Nothing is how these Hollywood movies make it, and there are very similar plots that have been used. Of, you know, there, I'll say the whole. He obviously has his phone number. He never replies to these messages, but because of his message, he kind of gets a little bit of an insight of who she is, and then obviously that chances of them meeting, and then they do kind of get to know each other, and it's because he never really tells her this is the whole big thing. And that stuff has been before, you know. There's always, you know, like I use the example of She's All That, you know, it's a competition, but she's never told about, and then obviously she finds out about it and she's really hurt, and it does bring up that very much dilemma. It's like, of, for a chance set of circumstances, you meet somebody that you are attracted to or you feel like you have a connection to. Do you be honest from the get-go? And, you know, there's a good chance you be honest, they don't necessarily want to have that connection with you or even spend the time to build that connection with you, and then that connection is lost. Or do you hold off on telling them the truth to build that connection, for actually a connection to be there, and then maybe when they find out the truth, that is overcome because you have that connection. And it is a very conundrum that is out there, and I think that is probably why a lot of because there is two sides to this conversation, like most stuff, and it is very much food for thought. And I think this is a compelling thing, is why rom-coms and chick flicks and stuff use this in. And I say, because the message stuff, when they're talking to each other, you know, in big movies, sometimes, like, oh, someone might say something silly or something like this, but they keep this up quite a lot of the way throughout the film, and I think it works because it is very much a realistic way of how people get on. There is a lot of thing of, like, with the messy, you know, they want to see the messy side, they want their partners to always be honest, you know. And there's even a thing that even this couple, they both can't cook, and I think that's actually quite realistic, because I say, like, for what I take with, like, me and my wife aren't the best cooks. Well, you know, we can cook, but, you know, we far prefer to stick stuff in the oven and stuff like that. And that is a realistic thing, though. You know, there aren't every couple out there that one or both of them are very good cooks. And you say there are little bits like this that they play more to the modern day couple, but I'd say wouldn't necessarily say younger couples, because there are a lot of things these two people do not like, internet dating and stuff like that, and I can totally get on with that. And maybe that's more of a little bit of an older person thing than a younger. I mean, these are, I think the bloke is 35. I don't know how much the woman is, but I imagine she's supposed to be there in that same ballpark. But yeah, it's like, it's the haphazard and mix mash, you know, and it's mix mash. It's not done in a really bad way. It's just done in a more realistic way, and I think that with the few little elements, and then even like Celine Dion's music and her in there, it works very well. I mean, they very much could have done a very polished version of this with more famous actors and stuff like that. But I think actually, this is very much a newish angle that they played on it, and with newer elements that are more relatable to the audience, that works actually far better. I personally rate this 6.5 out of 10. I say it's because it takes a little while, and because there is a little bit of it takes a while for you to actually get to know the people. And I say, and then this could have been, you know, you could have got better actors in there, and there is kind of a British thing and stuff, which I wasn't necessarily always sold on. No, I don't rate it higher. I mean, I would definitely want to watch this again, I think, because I watched this by myself, and maybe if I watched this with my wife, I would think it rate it even more, but it is what it is. So yeah, so I did actually, I say I really liked it. I don't necessarily love it. I think I need to take time and watch it again, but it's definitely one I will add to the collection. I say it was a surprise, and it was all the little, you know, more personal things, the more like little silly quirks and qualms that we all have, and our partners have, if you know, sitting there with somebody, or you know when you watch this film, and then it reminds you of situations that you've had in your own relationships. And I think that is nice to see more relatable things in this day and age, rather than relying on everything has to be fictional and stuff like this for love films. You know, a bit of reality kind of shapes these things. Anyway, that is my movie review of Love Again. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll probably be back with another one next week. I've been Cypher Sigma. See you in the next one.